Tonight, we begin with the escalation and some of the protests and chaos that we've seen today on the streets of Nigeria. I'm being joined by a former member of the National Assembly, a senator who was a member of the Public Accounts Committee, Senator Shehu Sani. He joins us live here in our election studio. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Perhaps you've not seen it, but I guess you have seen those pictures. Let me show you again what's been happening on the streets of Nigeria today. In some part, angry citizens have gone to ATMs, vandalizing parts of banks. This is on the street of Delta State, burning of tires, and you see at some banks, they've attacked some banks, ATMs are being attacked. This is in Delta State. I'll show you what happened in Kogi State also, some of the areas that we have been following for you, citizens taken to the street. Senator, are you surprised to see this? Or what's your take on what has been an escalation?
Well, thank you very much for having me once again in this program. Well, the protest you have seen is a reaction to the CBN cashless policy and the redesign of the Naira. But before then, I think it's important that we critically analyze the situation. The federal government has made a mistake in its policy of redesigning the Naira and also the cashless policy. And this mistake it made was that there was no wider consultation with Nigerians on how these things can work and how they can be carried along. And when the National Assembly passed the bill that became an act, there was no serious debate and a wider consultation within the polity in terms of getting Nigerians to know the implications or the consequences of this redesigning. The way it was done, it's like because the mandate of the CBN is very clear. So as far as the governor of the central bank is concerned, he can go to the president and get his approval, and then it becomes a prescription for all Nigerians. And that was the mistake. Was
that a mistake?
It was a mistake.
I thought it's procedural.
It's procedural, but where are we today? People were not properly enlightened and they were not properly carried along. And now we woke up in a day and see before us a policy that affects the lives of every Nigerian. And in such a way that we are a developing country where people use cash for their daily transactions. And it's supposed to be a similar situation as it was in the past, but a nation of 211 million people, and you are taking such a very crucial and critical decision on matters of economics that affects their lives, there's a need for that consultation. It's supposed to be done. That was a mistake. And on the side of those in the position of power, the governors, their own reason for objecting to the redesigning of the Naira and the cashless policy is simply because of the elections. They want to use the old Naira notes to buy votes. If this redesigning was done after elections, there could not have been anybody going to court. There could not have been anybody from the side of those in the political authority challenging, objecting, or resisting this.
You think you think that is the reason?
It is the reason.
And because you said it categorically, as though you have an evidence that they're actually going to rig elections with the money.
It's not about rigging election. Why the insistence on using the old Naira notes? Is it because the people are suffering? Or if now they said you can use the old Naira notes after elections, they will still not agree. They want to use the old Naira notes to buy votes.
But the governors have said that they are saying their clamor is because of the average person. You don't believe them?
Well, the average person in Nigeria in the last 7 years has been traumatized, has faced a lot of hardships. And you can't talk to me about average person. I that come from the northwestern part of Nigeria, where every day the average person is being killed, is being kidnapped, his life is being decimated by terrorists and bandits. How many of these governors have ever gone to court to take the federal government over matters which affects the lives of ordinary people. These are people that have been supporting all the policies and programs of Buhari's administration. For the simple fact, from what I've seen, the president is trying to usher in a political order, a political system, an election where money will not influence, decide, and shape the thinking of people. And they're opposed to it. If this redesigning was done a year or 2 years ago and people are queuing and suffering, there could not have been any governor. They will simply say it's the policy of our party, everybody should fall in line. It's simply about 25th of February. And let's not make a mistake about it. The struggle on this new Naira note is as important as the soul of democracy in Nigeria. If you allow these old notes to be used before 25th of February, on or before, I mean, you forget about credible and transparent election. There's so much poverty in this country today. People will not see money and turn the other way. Money has for a very long time influenced the decision of ordinary people, the masses of the people, because poverty has been so weaponized. So as far as I'm concerned, there should be no validation of these new notes until after the elections. Then that can be done. If you do that now, the system, the election will be so monetized. Why is it that it's only the ruling party that are complaining that they need money?
Did you see the Nigeria Governors Forum statement headed by Governor Tambuwal, who chair of the NGF, and they have spoken up against the policy. And Governor Tambuwal is a PDP governor.
Yes, of course. But who are the
only state that have backed the FG, that has been on the side of the FG, is Edo State.
And then Edo is on the side of the people. It's on the side of the masses. If that is it, it doesn't matter if the majority will go the wrong way. The governor of Sokoto State is the chairman of Governors Forum, and he can only speak on behalf of the majority decision which they have taken. There is no governor that doesn't want money to give to electorates. But what I'm saying is clear. How many governors from the opposition have gone to court? If we allow these old notes to be used for the 25th of February, we should forget about transparent elections, because all this fighting, many things have happened in Nigeria. How many times have you seen these governors raising an eyebrow? They have been defending, protecting, insisting that these are the policies of government, only on the issue of money. That's all.
From the last time that the CBN gave Nigerians a breakdown of how much they've mopped up, we understand about 900 million or so is still left, or thereabout, is still left in circulation, to be taken out of the old notes. You think that is the target, that amount is the target. You think that is enough to do what you think that they plan to do? Because again, and I then ask, what evidence would you have to corroborate what the allegation that you've made?
Well, there was a time, if you Google, you will see it very clear. There was a time the EFCC said some governors are under watch for stashing billions of naira in some certain locations. So that is a government agency making that statement. And you ask yourself, why the insistence on the use of old notes? Is it because the ordinary people are suffering? Ordinary people have not started suffering from the time MFLA introduced the Naira. They have been suffering for the last 7 years. How many of them cared? They never cared. So as far as I'm concerned, I think the government should stick its ground. And if you are contesting an election for presidential, governorship, or national assembly, if you are popular and people like you and you are sure that your program will scale through, why money?
There are those who are of the view that even the new notes are being stashed. So if you say that this policy should not be allowed, mind you, Senator, some governors have said they will shut any bank that refuses old notes.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if there is any bank they should shut, it's not the commercial bank. They should shut the central bank branches in their states. And let's see how they can function. Because a commercial bank receives directives from the central bank on what to do. And they said they had been directed not to receive the old notes. So go ahead and shut down the CBN branch in your state, and let's see how that will work. All these things is about, we have stash of old notes. We want to distribute it on election day for people to vote. That is all about it.
So you have the view that the 2023 election or the February 25th election is going to be rigged, or votes are going to be bought. That is your view, isn't it?
Well, when I speak, I am also a student of history. In the last elections that have taken place in this country, there has never been any in which there is a serious onslaught against vote buying as we have seen today. One policy by CBN and the federal government has kept everybody on his toes. Who are that everybody? People who want to buy votes. This is it. Now, a democracy is supposed to be, election is supposed to be a democratic exercise where people can exercise their constitutional rights to elect leaders that will address their problems. Nigeria will face a lot of problems, political, social, economic, security-wise, and so many things. At this time, we should be thinking of a leader that has the capacity, the competence, the integrity, the honesty, and the experience and the wisdom to address our problems. But they know that their selling point is money. And that money, if they have enough of new Naira notes, nobody could have gone to court.
So you agree with the likes of Chief Affe Babalola, who says deep pockets or deep-pocketed politicians will buy votes, and this election could be determined by the deep pockets?
Well, as you can see it very well, the way the major political presidential candidates, Asuwaju, Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwaso, in all, it is the supporters of Asuwaju that have been making this point. And I know very well that he has won election a number of times in Lagos State without sharing money to people. And he had, from his record, as one who fought for democracy, one who has been in the front line of struggle, even during Obasanjo, to ensure that this democracy, he has selling points. But governors that are behind him, who were beneficiaries of the democracy which we fought for, now are trying to portray and color the situations as if the only way for which they can win power is allowing them to use the old Naira notes. And that is very wrong.
So the president today met with the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele, hours after the Supreme Court adjourned the suit filed by the state government to challenge the Naira redesign policy of the CBN. That hearing will happen on the 22nd of February, 3 days before the election, which means that that policy will still have to go on as far as the position of the Supreme Court is concerned. But the aide to the president, Mr. Shehu, told Channels Television that the CBN governor was indeed expected to see president and believed that he met with him after the Federal Executive Council meeting today. The president had 11 days ago appealed to Nigerians to give him 7 days to resolve the cash crunch, and the NGF urged him to allow all old notes circulate in the system to ease hardship on ordinary Nigerians. The president said he was going to come out in 7 days. It's National Security, National State Council of State and met and advised the president on this matter. What do you think the president should be doing now, based on all of what is on the table and the escalation we're seeing on the streets?
Well, first of all, I must make a call that the people of Nigeria, the masses, should not go on public protests at this very time, because any spark can lead to a conflagration. We can incinerate the country and derail the democratic process and destroy our democracy as a whole. So I believe that some of those who are not having their way today, they will very much be interested in having people in the street and protesting. And they come with a gap of as if they are fighting for the common people. The common people have been suffering for almost 8 years now. It's now that you know the common people. Schools have been closed down for over 8 months. Nobody has raised anything. In our own part of the country, people are killed every day. There was nothing other than saying that the government has been doing its best. People are kidnapped. Here we have our train, Kaduna to Abuja, was derailed, and the kidnappers took over, terrorists took over people, and nobody has done anything or said anything about it. So at this crucial hour, what I will advise the president to do is simply to stick to that no use of old Naira notes. But I believe that as pressure, and one unfortunate thing is that the opposition are not doing what they need to do. The opposition thought with or without money, because people are suffering and there is so much hardship, they would win election. But let's take it very well. A nation that has statistically proven to have over 133 million people, poverty has been weaponized. Allowing the use of these old Naira notes will influence the decision of the people. And we can't be talking of having a democracy in Nigeria when leaders buy positions, when they buy the presidency, buy the governorship position, buy the leadership position. Leaders that are fit for our country, that we deserve, should be leaders that are competent to take over power in Nigeria.
All right, let me take you to a bit of politics now. This picture, can you please put back a picture of the APC presidential candidate and some of the leaders of the APC meeting with Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State earlier today, just a few hours or minutes away. They were meeting at the government house in Rivers State. For you, this picture, Senator Shehu, and I know you left the APC and you're a member of the PDP.
Yes.
Does this change any part of the game? Is this a game changer in any way?
Well, any presidential candidate that visits any state, it is the tradition that you visit the chief executive of the state and visit traditional rulers and visit any prominent person before you go on a campaign. So the picture I've seen here is the presidential candidate of the APC, the Jagaban, visiting Wike. And until Wike come out publicly to say he has endorsed Jagaban or Aswaju, then I know that the party will now decide on what to do.
But I mean, you've been following the situation and the development before now. It does look to a lot of political watchers that Wike will probably endorse anybody except Atiku Abubakar. He said so much about that. And it's 9 days, 10 days to the election, and this kind of visitation, do you think it's just ordinary and normal? I mean, I've been monitoring politics for China's television for some time. This doesn't look normal to me. For you, if it comes out to say it is Tinubu tomorrow, does it change anything in the game for Atiku Abubakar or Peter Obi or Kwankwaso?
You see, first of all, I contested election and I lost. And when I lost, what I decided to do was to, even though the person who won has heavily used money which I could not give, is to support him to take over leadership in the state. If you contest an election, especially the primaries, and you lost, it is incumbent on you as a responsible and a disciplined party member to support the candidate of your party. And if you have any grouse, it should also be solved within the party. Wike is an exceptional man that has made a lot of sacrifices for the party. He has never left the party. He has committed a lot of resources and has a lot of supporters all over the country. But where does he take them? There are people who are loyal to his party. People are contesting under the PDP in his very state will he tell them at presidential level, vote for A, and then at governorship level, vote for B? He's taking a serious gamble.
He's been saying that.
Now, let me tell you, apart from that, that's one. Secondly, I think Nigerians have reached a point today in the political history, our political history, where a governor of a state cannot determine to the people who they should vote for. At this time, at this hour, people of this country have decided on who to vote for. Those that will vote for Atiku Abubakar will vote for Atiku Abubakar, whether the governor of any state said no or not. Those that will vote for Peter Obi will vote for Peter Obi. Those that will vote for Asuwaju Jagaba, they'll vote for Asuwaju. Those that will vote for Konkoso, they'll vote for. So the endorsement of a governor now is inconsequential, is irrelevant. But as for Wike, it's better you go with the devil you know than the angel you don't know.
So who is the devil, who is the angel? I mean, in this context.
I am making references to the fact that the PDP has been a party that he built, even when many of us were critical of it. And there is no better place for him than his party. If he goes to any other party other than his party, he goes there as an IDP or as a refugee. And that will not give him that clout that he had in his own party. I can see that people at this time in our history have been cross-carpeting. You see an APC member saying he will vote for a PDP candidate, a PDP member is vote for a PDP candidate. So where we are heading to at this time is a new political development in our history. Right. But I believe that as for Wike, he should have a change of heart because he is putting the lives. Whoever wins the presidency of Nigeria will determine who will win the governor. Right. If Asuwaju wins the presidency of this 25th of February, and will he visit Port Harcourt and tell the people of Port Harcourt or Rivers to vote for Wike's governorship candidate? He will not. The same thing, if Atiku wins election, he will say they should vote for governorship candidate from their party. So you are taking a deep gamble. Nobody will vote for any governor from another party when the presidential candidate is from different parties.
Senator Shehu Sani, thank you so much. The man who speaks with a lot of proverbs on his Twitter handle. Thank you so much indeed for speaking plainly tonight on this program. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.